Welcome to the Freddie Kissoon Show. Welcome to the Freddie Kissoon Show. Mike, all I'm saying, next time, bring the evidence. But all you do, you come here and have corruption.
How come
Just here. Next time you come, bring your stuff. I am not talking about that. I'm talking about you in 2024, December, saying there's corruption. Bring it.
Let me ask you this question. I would like to ask the AG to propose legislation for what we call small claims court. There are lots of poor people, to an example you just gave, that they have issues with others and sometimes with large firms, but the lawyer fee is greater than the fee you're claiming.
It is their
right.
Unlike the right that someone has, all our rights exist in context.
What is the context of a second medical opinion?
Because you disrespected the process.
No.
Jesus, this is common sense, man.
Any situation which you seem that you're just dealing with Afro-Guyanese issues. If one, you can't bring and pull the leaders of the African community together, you're failing. And if two, you can't put forward a future, a blueprint, and a plan for African Guyanese, you're failing as well.
Hi there. Pleasant Monday evening to you. We apologize for two things. We didn't put the description of the program this evening. Sorry about that. But as you know, Mondays are call-in. And we were a bit late because Leonard Craig had to rush down from Bobby's where we were speaking at a PVP public meeting. So sorry about that, but let's get straight into the program. That is our WhatsApp number, 676-3681. Call us. There is never a dull moment in Guyana. And even so, it is always an exciting moment when elections are in the air. And elections are in the air, traveling fast. There's so many things going on. So call us and pick our brains, or let's have your opinion. There are kinds of opinion, but when all is said and done, they are enlightened opinions in which people could learn. And I have certainly learned on these call-ins the past 3 years, things that people have said. Of course, they're idiotic and ignorant things that people have said, but you learn. So call in and let's hear about your views. What is our preamble? Well, I could think of one thing that when I saw this and heard this, do you know Aubrey Norton subtly attacked Azuddin Mohammed? But he did it very subtly and astutely. He didn't call his name. He just said, if you steal from the state, what makes you think when you get in, you're not going to steal again? A leopard does not change his colors. And that is all he said. But remember, you can make the connection or you can logically deduce who he's talking about, because the leopard is the party emblem for wisdom in nationhood, win. So they made Azaruddin, and when he turned around and started to eat their food, then they realized that he isn't leaving any food for them. The PNC and the AFC and their surrogates nurtured Azuddin Mohammed during the Adriana Young tragedy. Adriana Young mother on Bench Up Radio said that Azuddin Mohammed gave us $6,000 American to find an independent pathologist, and she said Wade came up with a pathologist. So he was in the thick and thin of the Adrian Young, I don't want to say scandal, but it turned out to be a scandal. So he was, Azzuddin Mohammed was in the thick and thin of the Adrian Young scandal, and the PNC, the AFC was there with him. They knew what he was doing. They knew he was contributing. And then they discovered, the PNC, the AFC discovered that the PNC constituencies, the PNC supporters were running behind Mohammed. Now, don't take my word for it. Go on Facebook and look at Norton saying, and I can't quote the exact words, but this is what he said. Well, they said they can give you this and they can give you that. Give you this and they give you that from which money? They've been stealing from the state. What make you think when they get in, they will continue to steal? A leopard does not change its spots, and he moved on. So,
yeah. The other thing about the Mohammed phenomenon is that when the APNU and AFC realized that Azzuddin fell out with his PPP friends, they realized that he had a vendetta or a score to settle. They thought that score meant that he will go after their constituency, after the PPP constituency. We here said that Bharat Jagdeo's pursuit of Azzuddin made him popular. But I think in hindsight, Jagdeo's move was astute in that when he speaks, his constituency listen. And I think he spoke over and over and over, and his constituency listened. And they did not follow Azzuddin Mohammed as much as the PNC and AFC were sending out vibes. They were sending out messages almost as if to say, we are all in the opposition, and as long as you're against the PNC, as long as you're against the PPP, stick with the opposition. And by communicating that to people, they take it to mean that, thing. And then Azzuddin is probably one of the most magnetic personalities in the opposition right now. All right, he has trinkets, he has riches, he has these things that most people in society aspire to. And
10 cars.
Yeah, and so that gives an evocation of being nearness, because some people, their hope is at least being near to riches, and that was attractive to quote unquote people from the ghetto, from the inner city. And the inner city people, especially youths, were from the APNU constituency. And the other thing, the second part of that, is that the first crop of people that Azzuddin attracted were people who came from the PNC, the first crop of people. And so they became his main activists. And where I travel, Freddie, Essequibo Coast, I travel East Bank, I travel all the way up to parts of Quarantine recently, and I just came back from West Berbice. And when you look at where the T. Mohammed flags are posted, they are posted only in Afro districts, mostly. I'm not saying none is in East Indian enclaves, but 90 or more percent are in Afro enclaves. And here what happened with Afro activists that came from the PNC. They act as if they're not interested in East Indian votes. So they do all their mobilization in Afro communities. So they went over to Azruddin with that same attitude and mindset. And so what they do, they mobilize. So his first set of activists were from the PNC, and those same people mobilize in PNC constituencies. So that is where the
double whammy.
The nerve center of activism is. Whereas Mohammed does not have enough activists who are from PPP constituency or traditional PPP constituencies. He doesn't have enough or sufficient to move and shake things. So when you travel around the coast, Essequibo, anybody could take a look. When you're traveling down to Berbice, you check the villages where you see the flags lined off, and they are Afro villages. You and the same thing you're seeing with APNU green flags. They are almost exclusively in Afro villages. And it's like if they are acting in the same realm as such. And that is what will turn to hurt the PNC. Good evening, you're onto the program.
Good evening, Mr. Perry.
Good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening. You're on the program.
Yes, and good evening, sir. I don't need to correct you. Yes, the things about Mohammed team. In Skellen here, this is in Skellen.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to farm a group like footing, and I see the park on the road, maybe 5 or 6 of them. And nobody really turned out to it.
Mm.
Because I noticed a man in the street got his photograph and he put up and he invited but nobody not go. People don't interested in it. People don't see the scampish and then if you could remember when he went to the Skellen market and he was asking a Muslim man, and the man tell him, yes, a Muslim brother, you have a right to help. That the man's son he was talking about out to Irfan Ali, and he who helped him the most.
Yeah.
And that is not his duty.
Mm-hmm.
But I went because I know this guy, the by father. The by father is strong to the people, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I went Saturday, and I said, I'm becoming get the region soon again. I said, man, what more they can't tell him? He said, don't worry, we ain't got time with PPP, and he's a Muslim. If you want to help him, Muslim, we'll help him, Muslim. You don't think about that. Well, we are PPP supporters.
Mm-hmm.
I will never turn me back against the PPP. Yeah, all the people, majority people are market, yeah, all of these people support. I know all of them, each and every one, because we live far from each other. There's streets after each other we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I hear you talk something about the something that he had a meeting when he had a meeting. So I can't remember the meeting. Which party had it. I talked something about the money that he would give $100,000. You give a 30, a 55, a 30, and some other amount of money for make up 100,000 cash grant for the children. He is just like the APNO and the FC. Simple. It's just promising. He has nothing. You hear what he said on the stage? He don't need power. So if he win, who you put in power?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's common sense.
Yeah. I think he's running for one, for vendetta, and two, he somehow believes that if he accedes to office, that his sanctions will be removed.
That's right. And the biggest aim for him is to get PPP out of power. That is all.
Yeah,
he don't need no power. He wants to see PPP struggle and the people are struggling. So he don't care about the people now. Let me tell you, he don't really cares about people. He cares about himself and protecting family. That's all. He wants 2 people we help. I asked one comrade, one of him people were supporting. I said, tell me how much people Mohammed ever helped in your whole life. If he built 20 house since he get all this money, that is enough for 750,000 people and 750,000 people in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? He's just like up now. The man is a hater. The man is just a hater. People must understand one thing, my brother. We are a human being. We all do make mistakes in life. We are not perfect. But now, you as a friend, if you have a friend, now we say we are a group of friends, and now one involved himself in a murder, and we involved, we can say that we can keep away from you. We have to keep away from you because we didn't commit no crime, so why we should mix with your crime. So the exact thing PDP is doing, PDP they hate you, the government they hate you, is the government keep away from you because of the sanction.
Right.
Yes, the government they hate you.
You get another point, you're coming up on 5 minutes.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's my contribution.
All right, good. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, the other thing that guy mentioned is that nobody else in the Win party got name recognition. So people are not going to turn out when the community activists invite them out. They got to get Azruddin.
Has he got his prime ministerial candidate as well?
I didn't hear anything about that. Right? And so they got to get Azruddin himself to get a small crowd thing. Good evening, you're on to the program.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Freddie and Mr. Craig.
Sir, go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, I heard Mr. Craig saying that there's no peace upon the Lord's card. Good night. I heard that you saying that Azruddin doing what he's doing because of vendetta. You didn't know it. Hello?
Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah. I heard you on the last caller that Azruddin doing what he's doing because of vendetta. You didn't know you're doing because of vendetta too.
That's your opinion? That's your opinion?
Face, you could see it in your face.
Okay.
You just look so awkward on the program. You know what I mean? You just look so awkward speaking what you saying on that program. Well, Freddie, everybody knows Freddie. Freddie is a radical. You know what I mean? Everybody love him for his son. But you look like a fake. 100% fake.
All right, sir.
Yeah, that's my opinion. So,
any other contribution?
You're looking at his TV, was he?
All right, okay. Thanks for coming through.
Craig, it comes with the territory, right?
Yeah. Understood.
People say all kinds of. Good.
Good evening. You're onto the program.
Hi. Good evening, sir. I just want to commend you guys on a really great job that you're doing, opening the phone lines to have opinions. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead. We're hearing you.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say that you guys are doing an incredible job just trying to, really highlight, a lot of persons, how they feel about the elections. With this fellow, Mr. Mohammed, in my personal opinion, he's not qualified to run a country. I don't like to be critical of others, but it's just, I think we need to have an intelligent opinion when we're choosing who is to govern our nation and our country. We need to be very careful with the choices that we're making because it will determine how we move forward as a nation, as a people, and development. We are not just choosing a president based on a personal feelings, how we feel, but we're really looking at policies, manifestos, promises fulfilled. And previously, I called and I had mentioned that I haven't voted in a very long time because I was so disappointed first with the PPP, and then I changed when the AFC had joined. and I had so much hope in them, and that turned out to be a huge disappointment. And I had said, I just would never vote again. I was just so disappointed about the whole bloody thing.
But you change your mind now.
But, well, what I've been seeing with visually, my children are foreign nationals, we're migrants, and my husband was always so clear that he's never going to stay and build someone else's country. He really wanted to come back home and develop his own land, develop his own country, provide employment, and wanting to make meaningful contribution to the country. However, so many things were so mismanaged, and the whole country was so, nothing was going smoothly. But then, for the last couple of years, we've seen so many positive changes, and I think I'm very impressed with the development that's happening. But there's still so many issues that need to be addressed. But I think at this crucial moment, I think this might actually be the defining election. It's so crucial to Ghana and its development that we cannot afford to gamble with our future at this critical stage. And I think that it's not about upper class, lower class, middle class. It's about everybody making conscientious decisions to say we want a country to move forward. We want it to develop, and we want a betterment not only for one type of people, but for every Guyanese, to have a better standard of living. And I've been seeing that throughout the length and breadth of Ghana, just traveling to different regions and experiencing different territories. We've seen how everything has changed over the years. It might not be drastically, but gradually, and we have to understand that these things are going to take time. But there's a lot of issues as well that I'm concerned about as potential voters in this election. Like I said, so crucial for me that I've been thinking that I need to go out and vote.
Please do. Please ensure you vote.
So that they can continue down this road of development,
Right.
So, but for me, one thing I noticed when I saw the list of candidates and I was so, clutched my pearls gasping was that I saw this Nigel, I think it was his name, who was, placed on the candidates list. Was that this? Pardon?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hello?
Right. Yeah, sorry. So I just saw this fellow Nigel Darimala, I think that's his name, and with all the violence, domestic violence and sexual violence against women and children, I think that's not sending a really good message to be on a list of candidates, for a party that potentially wants my vote, because that's something that really needs to be addressed. And I think that was a bit disconcerting for me to see that. And so I was kind of like, oh my God, I really do want to go out and vote as a result of the development that's happening. But I also want to make sure that it's also a safe place for women and children, and putting people on the list that is not reflective of good governance can potentially harm, our trajectory, in my humble opinion.
Okay. You were heard. You have exhausted 5 minutes. Is there another topic, another issue?
Corruption and bribery is another thing. For me, I've never been involved in anything bribery. People say, oh, if the police stop you, you have to give them $5,000. Thank God, I've never had to do that because, my faith dictates that. Yeah, my faith dictates that, I just don't participate in this. And to me, this is something that transcends every sector. If you go to a place that you need some kind of assistance, you always have to, you have to bribe this person to get through, bribe that person. As a migrant, you also need some sort of agency set up where they can assist you to resettle, and that it makes it easier. I know one person who came in this week who wants to come back as well to live. They're looking into remigrating, coming back home because there's so much progress that's happening. But we have to set up agencies that makes it like really assist, persons that wants to come home and give up their life. It has to be a more simplified method.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I would say for me, it took us like a good 10 years to really benefit from anything. It was so hard. But for us, when we look back at the choices that we've made, we know it's a good choice coming forward, and also for our children to come here to live as well. Even though they're studying college abroad, it is something that we want them to see the Ghana develop, and we want them also to come back and to give back to society and community in Ghana as a whole. So I think that's something that needs to be looked into as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks, guys, for being listening. Thank you.
Good.
Great job. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Okay. 676-3681. Let's call and
Hi,
hear
good
your
evening.
views.
Good evening.
Yeah. Your TV got to be turned on.
Yeah, am I on today?
Yes, you're onto the show. Please turn on your TV.
Okay, so I have some things that I will need to address.
Yes.
Just a few. Okay. Since the Chinese people that they have a lot of supermarkets in this country, right? And every time the government is sharing out some kind of money or any money coming in from anywhere to people in the country, the cost of living goes up, right? My idea is, what about if the government open their own supermarket? It's like, if they do that, I don't think the price will go up drastically like how private people are doing the business and raising the prices. There's one. And two is about this guy, the Azharuddin, or what you name, Mohammed Azharuddin. The more people talk about this guy, is the more famous he gets. And he doesn't worth it. He doesn't worth it at all. And number three is, I'm talking about the first-time people, the young people who's going to vote. Now, I am looking at a lot of rallies and these things, and people talking, politicians talking at rallies, public meetings and so. But I never hear anybody mention about the first-time voters that when you're going to vote, you're going to vote to whatever party you choose. You put the X in the box. You cannot make the X touch any part of the box because it will be a spoiled vote. It wouldn't be valid. Thanks. That's all.
Hello? Oh.
He's gone off?
Yeah, he's gone. That was abrupt. I just want to correct. Well, not correct, but just...
If the X touched the box?
If the X touched the box, it's still a valid vote.
Yeah.
Once you...
It can't come out the box.
Once you show clear intention.
Yeah.
Even if it come out...
It's not spoiled.
We're not teaching people to put their X outside the box.
Right. But if the X is big in the box
if the
and
X
a part comes out the box, it's a valid vote.
It's still a valid vote once you show
but
clear intention.
Where did he get that from? It can't touch the corners.
That is what used to be taught. Okay. And people actually believe that. It is once you show a clear intention which party you're voting for, the vote is valid. Hello. Hi, good evening.
A very good evening to you, sir. I'm just, I don't want to echo, I don't like to talk off the person, but I had a similar, something to say tonight, just two things when I found my way. We've seen a level of, rise of items in our country. And I would like the government, the government of the day, to pay much attention. Now, the government gives school children the grant. They're very good. You know what these people decided to do to raise school funds and school short? and raise all these different things to school children. Things that used to be now with 500 and probably 1,000 now gone to 3,005, 4,005, all because of a cash grant. So I would like the government to look into that personally. All these things, a number of things, and not only school things alone. A tray of eggs currently on the market now is over $2,200 to $2,500, and that's at both the markets. So I would like, somebody to look into these skyrocketing items. However, I know that the government is, a matter of fact, not the government, the country's in the election state. However, put aside all what's happening, I like to see the new government. The new government pay a little bit attention to our botanic garden or the farming garden. I can't remember which one. I forgive me because, however, it needs some. I wanted to find a word, but it needs some kind of some attention.
Let me stop you there a quick second. Hold the thought, but let me stop you a quick second. There is an extensive plan to improve both the zoo and the botanical garden. Myself and Freddie was exposed to that plan. We know the people who were appointed managers and so on. And there's an extensive plan, and not just the botanical garden, all gardens and national parks around the country, Jovera Park, our national park, and to develop more green spaces. So that is on the agenda, and it should be in the manifesto, at least of the government.
Well, even if that is in the agenda, I think it would have been that would be very good for recreational purposes, and it's good for our people of this great country. I wanted to add something more to that prior to what that was a part of it. Guyana, just adding this just should be a part of it. I know you already said you have a plan, etc. But we have a number of species in our forest. Number of species that persons in Guyana must not aware of. We could utilize our own animals, or we call it, but I don't want to say predators. Our own, and have it in our own zoo or wherever they want it to do. I don't know. I know about the plan and everything, everything. But we have a number of species in our forest. And I don't know how they will do it, but they can at least upgrade it by using aquarium too. We have a number of fishes, etc. And if that could be good, that would be better. Anyway, sir, thank you so much.
All right, good. Thanks for coming, Sean. Yeah. So
good. 676-3681. It's election. You must have your thoughts about elections. Call us and tell us what 6 parties are contesting the elections.
Talking about 6 parties contesting, what was my surprise? That the party led by Amanzo. Good evening.
Yes.
You're onto the program. Yeah.
I called last week in connection with the woman that I told you all that went to the Diamond Hospital and had to be transferred to Georgetown, and she died.
Okay.
She went there for a condition, asthma. Right? Hello?
Okay.
You hear what she went to Diamond for?
Well, that's what you were saying. We can't independently confirm that.
That's in the press. That was in the papers.
It was. Okay.
Yeah. And next point now, another gentleman from the air traffic control tower, he went in an accident and he died. He went to the Georgetown, to the Diamond Hospital also, and had to be transferred to the Georgetown Hospital. He had to be transferred from Georgetown now to St. Joseph. to get an MRI done. He died too.
Okay.
So I was telling Mr. Kissoon that the Georgetown Hospital, you could imagine they do not have an MRI machine. What is going on with this health?
No. You need to contextualize it. It's not exactly what you are saying that is factual. The public hospital and the Ministry of Health pays for examinations at an absolute level for patients that Georgetown Hospital don't have the equipment for. For example, patients who need MRI and patients who need heart treatment, they are sent to the CHI, Caribbean Heart Institute. Once they need an operation, stent or what have you, then the Georgetown Hospital sends them to CHI and the ministry pays for that. All persons, and I'm speaking now in an absolute sense, all persons who need an MRI, as a patient of the Georgetown Hospital, they have that MRI access. It's paid for by the Ministry of Health. So it's not. The point you're making is that is a factual point that needs to be elaborated on. The point you make is the public hospital doesn't have an MRI. The public hospital doesn't have an MRI, but I know I met this.
Someone don't try to defend this.
Listen, no, I'm telling you the facts because you may mislead people. But if you listen to, I am saying to you that people who need an MRI examination can have it once they're in the Georgetown Hospital.
I understand that, but they have to be transferred to another hospital.
That is what we can discuss. But the way you put it over is that poor people or low middle class people who go into the Georgetown Hospital don't have access to MRI. Do you know?
I didn't say that. I said he had to be transferred to the Georgetown Hospital.
Yeah. But I can tell you this: the CEO, Mr. Rambaran, showed me, I think 6 weeks ago, the part of the Georgetown Hospital where the MRI will be installed. It's not too far from the entrance of the New Market Street.
What a joke, eh?
So,
now the Georgetown Hospital is getting an MRI machine. Okay, let's move on, sorry. Mr. Kissoon, you're trying to defend, but it's not working.
But I could say to you that you're just trying to badmouth too. We should have a logical conversation. But I am defending, but you are not badmouthing. How do you like that?
Okay, let me go on to another point because, right? I'm going on to another point. Recently, there's a rumor going around that sanctions are coming down on some individuals again in Guyana. How true is that? I don't know.
How you mean you don't know? You come on this program last week. You come here and you shouting, you know something? The people have to be transferred. You don't know the facts that is absolutely and unadulteratedly not true? You don't know that? It's all in the press. How come you don't know that?
I'm saying it's a rumor.
Sir, it's not a rumor. It's a fiction that is now being established. There is no sanction coming against Minister of Housing Rodriguez, Minister of Natural Resources. A man named Travis Chase ran with that. The opposition picked it up and it fall flat. Now, if you were monitoring...
Let me make my point. This program is not for people to hear this.
No. This program is not for you to use it as a platform to misinform people. Get that straight. Get that straight.
Anybody?
You have you should know since Friday that issue came up about ministers being sanctioned and it has been dealt with. It's not true.
It's dealt with by who?
The government issued a statement. Who is being sanctioned?
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
My other point is,
Yes.
my other point is, Mr. Kissoon, give me a chance now. My other point is, in the 2016 election in America, could you recall that the Hillary Clinton emails is what turned that election upside down, and Donald Trump went into power. I'm saying to you, if those rumors are true, this election come 4th of September.
How a rumor could be true? What nonsense are you talking? A rumor is a rumor, a fact is a fact. If the rumor is true,
If the facts determine that is it, and those names are released, the PPP would have a difficult time in returning to power.
Probably that's what this gentleman is wishing for.
but you know what happened?
I'm not wishing for that. I'm saying, I'll give you an example of what happened in America. Hillary Clinton was running away with the election, and those emails were released, and Donald Trump...
That is not true. That is one interpretation, sir. Mistress Clinton was beaten by Donald Trump because Mistress Clinton and subsequently Ms. Harris were just not personalities or had a track record. What?
And they refused to go to some of the swing states.
I follow. Mr.
Showing before the email that Ms. Clinton will run away with the election. As
So,
soon as the email was released, it changed.
So,
you can't tell me that I was following that.
I was following that. The poll showed Modi was winning an outright majority the day before the election.
I'm telling you what happened in America. I'm just raising that point.
I'm just telling you I don't accept that was the decisive factor.
All right. My final point is, the president had a press conference and he said that he will address poverty in the next 5 years. I'm saying to you, the Starbucks News for 5 years has been talking about the cost of living in Guyana. For 5 years, every week is about 10 to 12 persons will be expressing their views on cost of living. It took the president 5 years now to come to tell us that he is going to address the cost of living and poverty for the next 5 years.
You know you need.
How good is that?
You know what I'm going. You know why I intercept you all the time. You need somebody to lecture to you. Why you think another newspaper, and I don't know why the Guyana Times have no, why you think another newspaper can't go to people every week and ask them how they think the government is doing? Why you trust the Starbucks News? Which country you living in? Why you trust the Starbucks?
Genuine people.
Who's genuine? Who's genuine?
Those people that air their views, sir.
Those people, I am not saying the people are not genuine. You could get another set of genuine people to speak about how the thing Guyana is going well. A newspaper does its selective job. Just like how you have your selective opinion, the Starbucks News have a selective opinion. Anyway, sir, you ventilated 4 topics. Hope we hear from you next week.
All right.
Good evening, you're onto the program.
Hello?
You got to tune down your TV
turn
radio.
down your TV.
We're hearing ourselves through your phone.
Yeah. Hold on. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I would like to ask Mr. Kissoon, you did in college for a while. What qualification you have to become for president? Or it could be a beggar, it could be a cake cutter, it could be a watchman.
Sir, the qualifications for running for president is you have to be Guyanese.
Yeah.
You have to be above 18 years old. You have to know how to speak and read English.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Okay. I want to ask you, Mr. Kissoon, I applied for my transport. I live in Tilling County, right? About 5 years now. And the lawyer told me that they're working on 2018. But I'm 64 years now. Suppose I die, my estate will go towards the government. I want to transfer my estate to my children.
How, if you have a lawyer, I don't understand, why is it that you own a property, you don't have transport? Craig has transport for his property, I have transport for my property. Why you don't have transport for your property?
No, we have agreement of sale in the area, you understand?
What agreement of sale? What are you talking about? You're confusing
Agreement
me.
to sale with whom?
Yeah, okay.
You have a lawyer, sir. You have a lawyer. Your lawyer should take care of that. You're paying a lawyer and you should take care of your legal problem.
What the man said since 2018.
Let's go to another lawyer, nobody.
Well, just change.
Don't pay your fee already.
Well, you're not going to get your transport if you bother with her. Go to another lawyer. Or take the lawyer up to the legal practitioners committee for discipline.
They told us that he's not going to get the land court judge in Borbies. All these years that I had.
Okay. Get another lawyer. Right, so anything else?
Okay, no, thank you.
He didn't explain why he hasn't got his. He didn't explain it properly why he didn't get transport.
You onto the program? Good evening.
Hi, Larry and Freddie. Good night to you guys. Okay, let me tell you something. My contention is this. That guy that called in with the health services just now, my contribution towards it. We have the Charlton Hospital, we have the Linden Hospital, we have New Amsterdam Hospital, we have hospitals already, right? And those hospitals, why is it not facilitated with these amenities? And we are still building more hospitals. Where are we going to get these things from to do what's supposed to be done in the hospital? If you can't control what you have already, why are you building more?
Sir, so are you saying that the people in these areas must be without a hospital?
No, I'm not saying that. But
you realize, hold on.
All the time in those areas, they did not have a hospital. And
but, excuse me, let me ask you something quickly.
Okay.
Where are you from? What area are you from?
I'm right next to in Alberton, right next to the
do you realize the population growth in the Diamond area over the last 10 years?
Yes, I do. Yes,
and those people, those new formation of people must be without a hospital?
Don't look past my point. If you cannot get what you have in order, why are you doing more?
That's not.
Because the hospital is very incompetent.
You put in.
It happens daily. If you see the amount of patients that is there and being on the look, because you sitting down there for hours to see a doctor. You're sitting down there months to get an operation.
Well, that is one of the reasons why these hospitals are needed.
You cannot get what you have already in place. You can't look after them and you still...
You're contradicting yourself. Here, why?
Contradicting yourself.
How many things could fit in one building, X amount of square feet? Is only X amount of equipment could fit in a specific building and X amount of people.
Okay.
But you heard. Let me just tell you what the plan is. Hold on. Let me just tell you.
Tell me to facilitate a health program in a hospital. We have to build 10 hospitals. So you go to do an MRI here. You go to do an ECG there. You go to do this there and do that there, all over the place. Why one hospital cannot all.
How you could do that in a country of 83,000 square miles? Are you serious, sir?
No, I'm not ever.
Yeah, so they let them people gone dead.
You have a hospital. You have a hospital, and it's not providing those facilities right now. So how are you building more?
Sir, it's a work in progress, but you're not listening to me. Hear this. The health sector has put out its plan, and the plan is services will be diverted to these other hospitals. When these hospitals pick up a pace and they settle down and start offering services at a reliable rate, a major section of Georgetown Hospital will be pulled down and rebuilt, and multi-story massive hospital will be built in its place. You will have more space, more room to put in a lot more thing that the health sector has already put out that plan in the public space. So it makes sense to build these outpost hospitals. One, so that the transition could take place. Georgetown Hospital could be rebuilt and refitted. And then these hospitals will then take off some of the load for smaller, simpler treatment. So these hospitals, it doesn't mean that these hospitals are geared for high-level operations. It is for the simpler, everyday things that you crowd Georgetown Hospital, and that is why people got to wait so many hours, because you get a cut, got to be treated.
I understand that very well, but my point is, if you cannot have those facilities that, at the hospital.
Yeah, but when you get the facilities, where you gonna put them?
More hospitals, and then we don't have staff for the hospital.
But when you get these facilities, where you gonna put them? The building, you realize how old the Georgetown Hospital building is?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Right, so even if you buy
equipment to the hospital.
Yeah, if you buy all of this equipment, you're talking about where you're gonna put it. You're gonna put out the patients and put equipment instead?
No.
Well, that is why Diamond was built.
Here what happened. We're going back to the same point that I was saying.
Alright.
If this hospital can't provide 1, 2, 3, 4 services, why are you building more hospitals? And then you have to transfer patients from this hospital to that, like what Freddie was saying, or you were saying, that you send the patients to do an MRI at another private hospital and government based field. How is it that we're not facilitated with government programs?
But the things you're condemning is standard around the world, They got hospitals in Trinidad and Tobago. You go to some of the hospitals, you got to be transferred to Mount Hope, and they got some real good hospitals in Trinidad.
Buddy, I lived in New York for 22 years.
Yeah, and it happens in New York too. I was treated in New York. Listen to me. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me, sir. I went to a hospital in Queens.
Every single thing.
No, that's not true. I went to a hospital in Queens. I got a bone deficiency.
Which one you went to? Which one?
I got a bone deficiency in my spine. And I went to the hospital, and they sent me to another hospital.
Which hospital? Which hospital?
I can't remember the name of the hospital, but it is in Jamaica. It is in Jamaica, Queens.
You got Queens General, and you got the one on Queens Boulevard.
It is in Jamaica.
Jamaica is on Jamaica Avenue.
And I'm telling you, I went there because that was closest to where I was living, and I was transferred.
Could we move on, sir? Anything else?
Yeah, we can move on. Hey, I'm Freddie. Freddie, I'm your family friend. I'm Saeed's cousin. Anyway, don't let me go down that way. Hey, what happened? My next thing I would love to see this government, if you want me to retire at 55, start giving me my NIS at 55 and give me old age pension at 60. Why are you retiring me at 55 and giving me NIS at 60 and then give me old age pension at 65? Why can't you start giving me back my money from the time you put me out of your service? want to rally for that.
I hear you. You might have a lot of people agreeing with you, but
we missed the boat. We missed the crucial point. We missed the crucial direction in raising the retirement age. President David Granger commissioned a commission of inquiry to look into the public service, and one of the strongest recommendations was that the retirement age be up from 55 to 60. And I testified at that commission and strongly urged for that.
I agree with that.
But somehow Granger
have a lot of potential.
Somehow Granger wasn't interested. And that it was
I agree if you want to take me to 60. At 60 you still have a lot of potential as guys in position.
Anyway.
If you're going to retire me at 55. Start giving me back my money at 55 and give me only a pension at 60.
All right, anyway, you're gone long over your 5 minutes.
Thank you guys for allowing me to share my...
Could anybody explain why? Can anybody analyze the presidency of David Granger? I think going through the prime ministers of CARICOM and our own president, Jack Dio Burnham, I think the most inexplicable president was Granger. I mean, Granger, how the commission inquiry in the public service never implemented. Hold the commission inquiry to land allocation, nothing else. Hold the commission inquiry to not Kaicho, Lindo Creek thing. Nothing. I mean, anyway.
Granger held more commission of inquiries
than Bonham.
Than
Bonham and
several
Jack
presidents put together.
Right.
I mean, it was.
There was a commission going to the police force in which they recommended that Silal be removed.
Yeah, and then a guy was thought to have made a threat against the president.
That's how you get the commission inquiry. Some junk man said.
Yeah, and then you had my stuff at GNBA had a commission of inquiry. Was a commission of inquiry galore. Good evening. You're on to the program.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
Good.
It's just going to be short. I just want to say you guys doing a great job, informing and educating the people of Guyana. And Leonard, are you guys there?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Guy that said that you were looking upward, I just want to shout out to him. He's probably the most stupidest person on Guyana right now. You should not be ashamed or anything. I mean, I don't have to tell you,
Sir,
the way some people...
Let me interject there quickly. One of the things that I never had a problem with in my life, ever, is not being sure of who I am and the decisions that I make. I stand by them, and I'm 100% not afraid to back the decision I make. And I could hold my head up in public high anywhere. So his comments wouldn't move me. Go ahead.
Well said, sir. As well said, you're a very educated man. And I want to say that I'm proud of you guys, doing a great job. And keep up the good work, okay?
Thanks for coming through, buddy.
One other thing, though.
Yeah.
Step your game up, man. Freddie got a nice tie. Where's yours?
I was on a program and I haul on a shirt and come on here. I was actually trying to wear this thing in you can see it in honor of the of African Emancipation Week. But I was speaking at a political meeting and I didn't come in time to fix my wardrobe, and the time was going and we had to start the program. So that is why I look like this.
You off the hook tonight. All right, well, we're Guyanese living in Houston, Texas, so you guys have a great night. Keep up the good work.
Good, buddy.
Take care.
Good. Time is going on. Please call us and tell us about your opinion. You're entitled to come on to the program and express your opinion. No one will censor you. But we will reply to you, of course.
Good evening. You're on to the program.
Good evening. Friend, you're around your son, you know. Every hospital is supposed to have an MRI, a CAT scan machine, right? Every good hospital. I had a very high-end hospital. But nobody shouldn't be coming from Johnson to wherever. Every hospital have a CAT scan machine, an MRI machine.
So I don't reject that. I accept that. But what I was afraid is that the context he didn't explain, in that if you go to the hospital tomorrow and see a doctor and something is wrong with your back, that doctor is going to give you a paper to do an MRI, and you will get an MRI done. It's two separate things. I agree with you. And the CEO of the hospital showed me the place where the MRI will be housed. I think Guyana is a work in progress. I agree with you that they should have an MRI, but I also wanted to tell the public that if you go to Johnson Hospital as a patient and you need an MRI,
but you can't depend on Johnson Hospital alone. You know, some people get a couple more these codes come down for MRI, and all the hospital building, right? Which is nice, right? In one hospital, you guys know, and you should have the facilities for people for not to travel. Even the only time when you guys got that dialysis system.
Yeah.
This is the dialysis for too.
Yeah. I think as Mr. Kissoon says, work in progress. Any other comment?
No, that's it.
All right. Yeah, buddy. Thanks for coming through. I think one of the things, Freddie, is how our health system evolved. You cannot divorce that from all the other things. Our health system didn't evolve.
This is a big country.
Yeah, and our health system didn't
10
evolve
regions.
as specialist health, what have you. So we had general doctors. And it's not very long ago that our doctors start specializing and all of that. And most times special treatment, you had to go overseas to Trinidad to what have you. And this specialized thing in medicine is now picking up in Guyana. And hello, you onto the program?
Hi, good evening. I am calling to make a few comments.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the cost of living that the Starbucks News was perpetually carrying in their dailies. I am saying to the viewers here, I am now 80-year-old. I worked as a school teacher in the 1960s, and my salary then was $96 and something cents per month teaching at a secondary school. So what these people don't understand, they're referring to things that's happening now. I'm still alive, and I think today's cost of living is much less than it was then. The other one I want to make mention of, I want to make mention to the leader of Apple, to just remind him that Sir Joseph Loku was the Chief Justice in Guyana very early years. Mr. Burnham, representing somebody in his court, placed his foot on the bench. So the Chief Justice asked him to please take it down. And Burnham's answer to him was that, look, you are just a judge. I am in politics. You know, Sir Joseph Loku had to leave Guyana and go, Sir Joseph Lucky. Now, the other one I want to talk about, you've got a program there that is, there's a little delay when you're talking, and people do not understand that. So they listen to themselves when they're phoning you, whereas they should really just continue to talk.
Yeah, they should talk through the phone and not listen on the TV, right?
Yeah, they just concentrate on their own voices, and they're coming back like that. Now, the other one is, I have said before two things to Freddie, that West Indies cricket needs a coach in that time, a while ago, and he was nearly prepared to argue, but Gilary had supported me, said it is true, they have somebody, but not a coach. The other one, the third one, I have said that the Chief Justice George should have been confirmed because of her outstanding performance, not necessarily the Chancellor, who was aired in too many ways. But I want also to mention that the Chancellor previously, who was a friend of mine, went to school together, he was never confirmed, and Justice Chang as well had to give up just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Well, you see how things, these little factoids that are interesting. Burnham put his foot on the desk.
I never heard that, and I wonder how true that is.
Maybe these little things, you know how many little things.
Good evening, you're on the program.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah.
I like the debate about this hospital business that you're having. But personally, you're not there. Hold on.
Yeah. Turn on your TV and listen through the phone.
Hello?
Go.
Yeah, that man that called him with Burnham thing, because of my age and my experience, you encounter people like gardeners, drivers, who see little things, and they would it will never be brought out because those kind of people would never make it in the public realm. They are a cook, you know, a sentry at a judge's home or a minister home. They reach retirement age, they gone, but they see a lot of things. Or a minister home.
Hi, sir. Please turn on your TV.
Yes, hi, sorry.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm actually calling about the same, I've heard a lot of people talk about the healthcare system. And I think, there's a misconception about our healthcare system that every single healthcare facility has to offer all of the services. Now, one of the things about Guyana is that we have 5 different levels of care in the healthcare system, right? We have our health posts, which should be one of the first points of contact. So where you have your preventative care, and where Guyanese can go to either do their little checkup and treat common illnesses. Then we have our health centers, we have our district hospitals, our regional hospitals, and then our national referral hospitals. And we have a number of new hospitals that are obviously being built, and I think we have a plan for a teaching hospital as well. And so what people do have to understand is not every level of a healthcare facility is going to provide all of the services. It's and I know it's unfortunate that everybody doesn't understand or read in to these things a little bit more. Our national referral hospitals, obviously these are the hospitals that offer the highest level of care to our citizens. So this is where we'd have all of the equipment, the best place to go for emergent care, specialized services, tertiary care, and things like that. So not every single facility will be equipped to offer everything, and that's okay. That's the whole basis of of that 5-tier level, and all around the world, as you would have said, this occurs. From the U.S. to the U.K., in the Caribbean, it happens everywhere. So that's one of the first things, and I think more and more young people really should do a little bit more reading. On all levels, not just healthcare.
If I could interject.
Yes.
From
sure.
my experience in some countries, at least in Germany, where I lived for 2 years.
Yes.
Your national or city or state referral hospitals don't even have an emergency room.
No, some of them don't. No,
they only
don't.
They only accept patients from referral from other hospitals.
Right. So I've actually rotated in Germany for a pediatric. I did a pediatric rotation in Germany, and so they only accept referrals from hospitals for pediatric care.
Right. And you can't roll in a child there with emergency. Right. There's no such thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I think because Georgetown Hospital got emergency section, outpatient section, and all of that, people bundle all as one and then expect Georgetown Hospital to deal with everything.
Yes.
And another point I was just making to Freddie before you call is that how our health system in Guyana evolved. Our health system evolved as treatment hospitals and not not hospitals with internal lab type equipment. So you get your treatment and then you're sent to a lab to get your test done, and then you come back with the results, and then the doctor treat based on that. That is how our health system evolved over the years. But as the years go by, we start adding laboratory equipment little by little in the thing, and so not having an MRI machine comes out of that experience. Yes, we both agree, myself and Freddie both agree, that by now we should have had an MRI and CT scan machine. And how it escapes, we don't know. But if you understand the evolution, then you could appreciate why. And then the other thing too, you look at the number of people who need MRI on a daily basis, and then you say, okay, there are 2 private hospitals with MRI. Is that sufficient for our patient demand? And maybe you say, okay, those 2 are sufficient, so let's send our people there and pay for it.
Exactly. And as healthcare evolves, and the needs of a system evolves, that's how you kind of you start implementing more and more measures, more and more equipment. Obviously, things don't happen overnight. Systems need to be analyzed. We have to see where needs are. A lot of times it's, not every single patient that's going to go into GPHC is going to need an MRI. Right. And as Dr. Freddie rightfully said, patients who do need an MRI do get that service through St. Joseph's Mercy Hospital, free of cost, right? You do get that service. And I think somebody was making a point of people can die. Well, you don't send people to get an MRI if they're unstable.
Exactly.
Stable patients are sent to get an MRI. So, those are things these are all little things that it's so necessary to point out, because, people can run away with an idea in their head that, we ain't got this,
yeah, because if you reach the stage of life and death, you certainly wouldn't need an MRI for sure. Right, because the other callers say getting an MRI is life and death, and I think clearly he doesn't understand.
Right. Yeah. And so there are nuances that you have to understand. Especially with healthcare, that there's no no patient is going to be on the brink of life and death, and we're going to be transporting them off to Georgetown Hospital, for example. And I heard about the park beautification, the national park beautification and things like this. And I would encourage a person who would have called in to read the low carbon development strategy, that has been out since 2022. And there's a lot of information in that document. I think it's 154 pages, a little bit of reading, but very, very informative as to where the government is heading in terms of, I think the person mentioned protecting biodiversity and all these things. Just recently we had the Global Biodiversity Alliance conference and these things. So so there's a lot of things that people are calling and actually reporting about. That's just the facts are out there. People are just not reading. They're not reading.
People just want to see something that in their mind will, create a certain narrative, and they run with that when the information is all around
out there. Yeah. I mean, that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you for coming through and clarifying some of the issues with the health system.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, you guys take care.
Strangely enough, we're in an election season, but a majority of the callers, they got other issues on their mind.
No, well, actually, it's the election season, and the guy attempting to talk the health system.
Yeah, that guy.
That caused the calls to go down that line. Yeah.
But
because he was trying to score electoral points.
So the point about people is how they see themselves as opposed to others. We were defending, but he was bad mouthing. You got a call in?
No. I think I missed a WhatsApp call just now.
Well, you want to get it back?
No, it's already gone.
Okay, we're winding down. Time is going. It's 676-3681. We apologize for starting late, and that's because Leonard Craig was in Berbice addressing a political meeting, so we had to wait on him, and we didn't send out the description of the topic.
Good evening, you're on the show.
Yeah, I was listening to Freddie just now. And the government did a good job for shield some house lot to Freddie. How much house lot they share? About 50,000?
55,000 is the I saw something this week, I forget the amount but it's more than 50,000.
More than 50,000, but you know the real truth, Freddie, you talking just now. God bless LFS Bornam nationalization, the guy Suku by. All them land are Bornam land. Guy Suku, where you nationalize Panjepel and Boka. God bless Bornam by. Fit it any way you want. And let Jack do fit it any way he want to. Land what them.
Him. He credit.
I did.
Probably run out.
I just credit run out.
But
we didn't cut him off.
In hindsight.
In hindsight, you got a call.
Hello. I know what's happening here. Eh?
Turn down your volume, sir.
Yeah. Please turn on your volume on your TV.
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, hearing you now.
Yes, forgive me, I'm sorry for the volume. Good evening to Professor Kissoon, and as usual, good evening to your good counterpart, Mr. Leonard Craig.
Good evening, sir.
Congratulations on the good work that you're doing. Is it strictly just a political commentary, or can I make another point?
Any point.
Anything you can talk about.
It's free-flowing and open.
You could talk about Michael Jackson. You could talk about the crazy things that the Israeli government doing, the sickening things the Israeli government doing in Gaza. You could talk about Sachin Tendulkar, Brian Lara. You talk about anything, sir.
All right, beautiful. First of all, this is not to swell the head of anybody or whatever, but and that is why I love Professor Freddie Kissoon so much, because he's always open-minded. And coming from a man of his pedigree, many would know him as being a political commentator, a strong critic of this government previously in previous terms, but much of his time spent at the University of Guyana. And recently, hear what someone said to me. This is the opening point, and then I'll come to the second or the last point. They said, man, Freddie's looking for something. By big in age now, he's looking for something. Now, hear what I said to them. I said, let me tell you something. First of all, I don't think a man of such caliber, you should address him by just Freddie. For me, he's Professor Freddie Kissoon. So he said he didn't know Freddie have a professorship. I said, let me tell you something. Being years at the University of Guyana.
So I don't want to. I'm unhappy with the direction of the conversation. But you go on. Just to clarify, if I needed something from the government, I'm sure President Irfan Ali would not reject it. He did offer me something, and I declined because of my age. I am not looking for anything. I am not an any state board. I'm not employed by the government of Guyana. I'm not paid by the Guyana Chronicle for my columns. But go on, make your point. Forget about me and.
No, that's all right. That's very good. It's a very good input you made. As a matter of fact, that is what I said to him. I said, listen, a man of his caliber.
You're making me uncomfortable, sir. I get your point. You're making me uncomfortable. Could you move on? Could you move on?
Would have lectured to so many students in Guyana.
All right, move on. Forget.
It brings me to the next point.
Yeah.
The next point is this. This is the question, and I will give the answer. Where is the nucleus of cricket in Guyana? Some people say it's at the club level. Some people may say the nucleus of cricket will begin at the school level. And let me tell you this, I have no qualms about this or no licks to get. I will mention this off the bat, and tomorrow they may want to charge me for libel or whatever, but it's not a criticism. Majority of the cricket clubs in this country have become state-of-the-art drinking or rum shop clubs. Take a look at one such, I wouldn't call the name, in central Georgetown, located in the vicinity of Border Green. Look at the amount of cars parked there. And you look and see if there's floodlights there and if cricket is being played there or practice or any sport. But you go to the pavilion area and you hear the amount of shouting and domino licking and beers drinking and drinking. These men should be congregating and planning where to take Guyana's cricket at the next level. A stone's throw away in Landscape Street is a very decorated and historic cricket club. That club produced one of the greatest spin bowler of all time, who led West Indies to successive victories across the world on the global scene. Today, not a single test cricketer that club can produce. And so can be said for the many other clubs in Guyana. There are many men who used to be cricketers that are now contractors with the government. You mean to tell me when they get paid, they can't turn up at a secondary school with a pair of bats, brand name bat, a pair of cricket gloves, ball, and other gears, and donate it to young men who wish to play cricket? Why all of this reliance have to be laid on the government? The president has the will. He has the will, he has the vision, but he don't have the manpower and the team of men who can execute the work to cause sport to excel in this country. I close by saying this. All that I'm saying is factual and can be proven. Guyana's sport development is a stock shop. Mind you, the president has the will, but it is a talk shop. What the president has to do is eliminate those around him who are just there for the goodies the government have to offer, and take the coaches who have the will, take the technical people and the former cricketers who are not given a chance to do clinical coaching sessions, and incorporate them in all the regions of Guyana
the way Clive Lloyd went about looking for talent, President Ali should have a team of men led by a strategic thinker looking for talent in this country. When you find the talent, you come back and say, skipper or chief, find the talent, find the pace bowlers. This is what we can work with. These are the batsmen. These are the wicket keepers. And let me tell you this here. At one time, Guyana had a team who could have substituted as a supplemental West Indies cricket team. That is factual. That is proven. Frank Birbal Singh wrote a book about that. And go and speak also to Professor Clem Charan. He spoke to that. We had a team that could have supplemented that West Indies cricket team when they went to Kerry Packer. Or when they were...
I think that could be said several times in our history.
You see?
At several points in our history.
I close by saying this. I'm very grateful for two very influential men like yourselves hosting the program and giving a platform so that common citizens like ourselves can share these things. But that is where the loophole is. And
all right.
Such can be said also.
Okay, we gotta go.
Can be said also for many other team sports.
Okay, so
if that is rectified, normally I don't be long. I'm closing up.
Yeah. You got to close up now because we're over time.
But if that happens, Guyana will become an unstoppable team when it comes to cricket or any other team sport or individual sport. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks for coming through. For the past.
Passionate about this cricket.
Our time has come. Our operator said we're way above time. So I can't do my 1 to 10 thing and take another call because we're way beyond time. Thanks for coming through. We will see you on Wednesday, which is the eve of emancipation. We will have a guest on Wednesday. Thanks for bearing up with us. We will see you on Wednesday. Have a pleasant what is left of Monday evening and enjoy the next day on Tuesday. On behalf of Leonard Craig and our overworked operators, thanks for being with us. Catch you later. Bye-bye.